and it just, you're a little stone on the, you're a little grain of sand on the beach. Sure, you might not be able to change that full system, but you're a part of it. And I think, what do you want to push? What mark do you want to leave on this world? What influence do you want to have? And to me, it's like, stick to that. That's more successful than getting views and all the money and attention. There isn't this pressure to go out and perform, to be something that you're not. And I envision that life in 30 years when you're being someone you're truly not. And I can't stand that life. I've tried that life, I've done that life. That's how I've got to this point, because I realized just being you is good enough. Just being you works and is the healthiest way, and should be the way you live life. Just because there's pressure or certain set ways and systems that we see in society, doesn't mean you don't step out of that, because things don't change unless people are different. Hi, just want to let you know what my videos are like. They're not this quick editing that's going to grab your attention. It's going to take a little bit of patience. The value is in my words, not in my editing. So if you listen carefully, you should get something from this video. If you want the shorter clips, and I do the best bits of every single video, post them on all my social media, TikTok, Instagram, Shorts. I also post on Spotify, so give that a listen if you don't end up finishing this video. But yeah, enjoy. So today I want to talk about how to become successful on YouTube. And this video won't be about numbers, because that's not what success means to me, and it's not what success should mean to you either. I'm talking success in terms of doing this forever, in terms of loving this, in terms of this being your life, and how to maximize the love for it, really. And I have to start off by saying, you have to place yourself into a system that you like. For me, this is obviously my format, being in my car, filming like this. This is how I love it. It's quick, it's easy, it's natural, it's authentic. And they're my main goals. That's how I want to be when I'm filming. That's my priority. You've got to figure out what your priority is. Do you want to be entertaining? Do you want to be professional? Casual? Figure out what style you want, and the only way to figure that out is try a load of different shit. Try a load of different things, and don't be afraid to do something that isn't good, because you've got to test different things. I'm testing things all the time and go and try it for a bit, and you go, nah, I prefer how I used to feel. And that's okay too. But for me, I don't think you can be consistent with YouTube if you don't love it, and if you're not being truly you. I think you've got to be authentic in this game to last. Sure, you've got people out there that aren't authentic, but I think it takes a toll on you. I think it takes a little bit of who you are away from you when you're not comfortable in just being you. And I think that's my focus. It's always been my thing. Always been what I wanted to do, is just be me, whether I'm right, wrong, embarrassing, cringe, soppy, whatever. Unimportant, boring. All of that comes behind just being me, because I can't do something that isn't me. I've got this innate thing that holds me back but keeps me stable, where I have to do what's natural. It's like my own detector. My own body and mind says, forget this bullshit. You don't want to actually do it. And sometimes you can take that as you being lazy and not trying hard enough. Or you can listen to your mind, listen to your body and say, maybe it's just something you don't want to do. And I think a lot of us, when it comes to this, think that there's a set way you have to be because you see all the successful people doing it and they're teaching you how to do it and it works for them and it gets them money, and we think this can save us from our job. We think this is the way out. But if you create something that's not a strong foundation, not something that you truly actually want, you're just working another job that's gonna make you unhappy. And I think when I was younger, I would see people make these videos and then not post for months. And I think what that is, obviously I don't know in detail. Different people have different things going on. But I think it's that they've got this pressure that they have to perform. They have to do this certain thing, perfectionism. And they have to, if I'm not that, it can't go out there. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But I know for me, that's not how it is for me. I just want to be me. And if it's wrong, if it's right, like I said, if it's not perfect, that's fine. Because I'm doing it. Because sometimes if you wait that long to do something, you never do it. You never truly delve into it. Whereas if you can just jump in and do it to a certain point, I think you learn faster what you actually truly want, and you get to that point of doing it how you want to do it faster. And that's the point. If you truly want this as a life, as a career, as the end goal, because you love it, that's what you've got to prioritize. You can't prioritize views, you can't prioritize looking good, making the best of the best. And for me, I know I wouldn't want it any other way. I wouldn't want to be draining myself for the sake of making something for pleasing other people rather than pleasing me. Selfish, I know. But at the end of the day, if you want to carry on doing this forever, if you want to be successful, and that's what success is to me, sticking to something and loving it, and it not draining you. Because there's enough things in life that drain us. There's enough things in life that we're forced to do. Find something you love, and you love and can just do it how you want to do it with no pressure. And it's the hardest part to stick to that. That's what I found. It's not as easy as you think to focus on doing what you love the way you love it. All these other voices come in your head, and the pressure and the insecurities come on your chest and start forcing you to do things you don't want to do because of that carrot on the stick that you look of, and you think external success, views, status, and just appearing cool or right. And it's all false. It's all a facade. You don't need it. It's so much more fulfilling. I mean, with my channel, I've tested so much, and I go back to my original videos, that format. I'm like, yeah, that made me happy. That's exactly how it was. There's nothing more to it than that. If I was rich, if I had all the money and all the time in the world, what would I do? What format would I place it in? That's what the reminder I come back to. And I say, I would do exactly this. This is exactly how I would want it. And that to me is success. But anyone that clicks on the channel will see that I don't get any views. I'm a bit in an egotistical way, I say they're missing out If you don't want to watch, don't watch. You're missing out. If the format doesn't allow this sort of content to thrive, too bad on the world, I guess. And that's okay for me. I think that's okay. I can handle that. I can be okay with that. Because I prefer, if I step out of that and you start going for views, you start going to put yourself in a format like everyone else, I get a feeling every single day, every time I'm doing this, with a little overhanging cloud of unhappiness. And because it's every day for you, whereas for the viewer, it's every week, 3 times a week, 2 times a week, whenever you post. So you got to prioritize yourself. And also, the format's never going to change if you don't have people out there just being themselves. If you don't have people out there testing different ways to change the system, to change how everything is, then it's never gonna change. And it just, you're a little stone on the, you're a little grain of sand on the beach. Sure, you might not be able to change that full system, but you're a part of it. And I think, what do you want to push? What mark do you want to leave on this world? What influence do you want to have? And to me, it's like, stick to that. That's more successful than getting views and all the money and attention. And when you've got to look long term. I think we think about this too short term. And even me, I mean, my natural perspective with this, time wise, 10 years, 15 years, 10 years preferably. I look at that and say, I'll start getting a decent amount of views in terms of people will see what I'm talking about. And then that's the positive, not because I want views and because I want attention. Because it will just give me a little bit of satisfaction knowing people are watching for the way I want to do it. And I look at it and say, yeah, 10 years, maybe worst case scenario, 15 years. You will find channels out there that have been going and making videos for 10 or 15 years and haven't got anywhere. So even my idea of all this is too short. And I say, what happens in 30 years of doing this? One, what format comes out that's different? I mean, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, podcasts weren't popular. That format, shorts weren't a thing, TikTok weren't a thing. How's culture and society going to change on what things are going to come out there? How's technology going to advance? You have no idea. So what's it going to look like in 30 years for you? And I sit back and I say, you can't even start thinking about changing what you're going to do for views and success and money if you've not stuck it out for at least 30 years. And it might sound silly to people, but if you feel like a failure because you've not got views, because you've not got the money, the brand, the ego, the status, I think it's a bit fickle that you're not thinking that, well, why do I deserve it if I've not put time in? That's what I think. I think if I had videos that blew up now, if I had videos that changed my life, made me an overnight success, would I deserve it? And I would say no. I say no, absolutely not. I've only been doing it 2 years, maybe 3 years. When you've got people out there that have done it for 10 or 15 years and have great content, but aren't found, why do you think you deserve it after 2 or 3 years, or even 5 years, or even 10 years? We can start the debate after maybe 30 years. And we all know the example of KFC. And when he became a success. And I think I've heard so many stories about people. I think Ian McKenna. You get success after a certain amount of time. And it must feel better if you get success when you felt like you've earned it. And when you feel like you can be yourself. When you see people get anxious when it comes to filming, when you see people get imposter syndrome, sometimes I think, is it because you've compromised? When this pressure feels too much, have you compromised somewhere where you're not being you? Because if I, let's say, for example, was getting success in terms of views and money with this, I wouldn't feel any pressure because I know I've got there because I've just been myself. And that's all you got to focus on. So you don't do anything you don't want to do. Maybe push the limits a little bit. So step out your comfort zone. But the majority of the things that you do are just you. So you must have comfort in that. There isn't this pressure to go out and perform, to be something that you're not. And I envision that life in 30 years when you're being someone you're truly not. And I can't stand that life. I've tried that life. I've done that life. That's how I've got to this point, because I realized just being you is good enough. Just being you works and is the healthiest way. And should be the way you live life. Just because there's pressure or certain set ways and systems that we see in society, doesn't mean you don't step out of that. Because things don't change unless people are different. And you do exactly what you want to do. If you want to be fake and have this bravado and performance, and that gives you joy, that's what you do. And you just live every moment doing what you want to do until you don't want to do what you want to do. You just follow your heart. I think that's the way you get success when it comes to this, or it comes to success with any single thing. You just got to stay true to yourself. And I think if you stay true to yourself, you're going to be at more peace in life. You're going to be happier in life. You're going to get what you truly want. It's just time and figuring it out. In just 2 or 3 years, I've learned so much already from this. In life and with just filming. And that to me is what it's about. Stop trying to achieve this status, this money, this thing, this end goal, and enjoy what's going on now. Be at peace, be satisfied now. Because why wait all that time for one moment to arrive when I know you're not going to feel it as much as you want to? And then it's a disappointment because you've wasted all this time. That cringy saying, you know, it's not the destination, it's the journey. It is so true, it is the journey, but it's a bit cringy to even think about it in that way. But it's about living now rather than living for that end goal, because you've always achieved things that you've already achieved things that you've dreamed of, and they don't feel like achievements anymore. But yeah, to me, that's how you get success on YouTube. And I'm just, after going through this journey and different styles and trying different things, I have really come to that conclusion that it's just do what you love. Don't put all this pressure on it because it's not needed, it's not necessary. Just genuinely do what you feel like doing. Speak how you want to speak. Edit how you want to edit. And don't focus on views and comments, and am I embarrassing or not? Who gives a fuck? Figure out what you want to do, and that to me is more success than these people who have millions of views but are dying inside. But yeah, thanks for watching. Peace.